Hello, my name is Addison Emge and I'm a sophomore at Morristown High School. For my project this year in the Life Design class, I'm fundraising food and toys for a local dog shelter. I have two dogs, Cooper and Frankie. We adopted Frankie in November. She came from a home that was not a safe environment for such a young dog. She was then brought into the shelter, and that's where we adopted her. Going through the process of visiting her and seeing all the other dogs at the shelter, it's really heartbreaking to see that some dogs don't get as much attention or recognition. So if we didn't adopt Frankie, who knows what could have happened to her. And this is exactly why I wanted to do anything I could to make sure that these dogs were getting the love and attention they deserved. But throughout my process, I faced many problems, but with that comes learning new things. So far, I've raised 4 boxes filled with things that I'll be bringing to the Mount Pleasant Dog Shelter, like toys, treats, and food. And to do this, I reached out to a pet shop and they offered to help me fundraise. Along with this, I put posters around town, including Venmo QR code. With the money I raised from the Venmo being put out around town, I was able to buy a lot of toys for the dogs. And not only did I put these posters around town, but all of our life design nights, I had them out and I was able to get people to help fundraise at these nights. And so with the money I raised, I was able to buy a lot of toys for the dogs. And I recently brought all of the donations, which was the 4 boxes filled, and gave them to the shelter. It was to show their appreciation. They gave me a tour of their shelter, and I was able to meet all of their cats and dogs. It was really rewarding to see what I've done can actually help these animals, and that I was able to meet. So it was very heartwarming. But during this project, I also faced many problems. In the beginning, I struggled to figure out what project I wanted to do. My original idea was a dog walkathon to try and promote the shelter and the dogs. But after reaching out to many different shelters, I faced a lot of rejection. Many didn't want to work with me. Some never even answered the emails that I sent. And some told me my project wouldn't even work. But finally, one shelter responded enthusiastically, which was Mount Pleasant, who I ended up working with, and was willing to help me reshape my project to make it more beneficial for them and the dogs especially. They told me fundraising is the most helpful for the dogs, so after they said this, I started my project right away. Another problem I faced was fundraising. During this process, I was scared to get rejected again, so I didn't reach out to many places to ask them for help with fundraising. Instead, I made posters and hung them around town, but I found that this wasn't really working, and I didn't raise enough money to actually use this to help me with my project. So I was getting really down on myself and was ready to give up and stop trying to fundraise. But after talking to the shelter, which was Mount Pleasant, they were giving me some suggestions on how to fundraise and the ways to get most money donations possible. They said that going in front of stores or reaching out to different stores really could help. So after they said that, I followed their advice. And as I said before, I reached out to a pet store and they really helped me fundraise. They put my posters around and asked customers to help out, and they did. And this was a big part of my project, and it really helped me raise all of the donations I got, because without reaching out and learning how to fundraise, I don't think I would have been able to get as many donations as I did. So as I said, with this rejection and the problems that I faced while doing this project, I learned a lot through it. After being rejected, I learned that I shouldn't just give up after I hear some little bad news or hear that one person doesn't want to work with me, that I should just redirect myself to improve. I found that this wasn't only occurring in my project, but also when I heard rejection. I found that this wasn't only occurring in my project, that when I heard rejection, I would just stop, but also in my life, especially in school. I started realizing that in school, after getting a bad grade or getting bad feedback from a teacher, I just gave up. But after completing my project and seeing what I accomplished even with a lot of rejection, I found out that rejection isn't bad. I started applying this to school, so now after getting a bad grade, instead of giving up, I would go retest something or go ask a teacher or try to re-understand what I'm doing wrong. After not having success with my fundraising, I learned how to talk to different types of people who could help me. Some people, it was different asking for money, or it was asking to help me fundraise or asking to put posters. So I learned how to ask people for help. I learned that people are usually very willing to help, especially for an important cause. And in conclusion, it is safe to say that life design has helped me in so many ways, and not only during this project I learned a lot, but especially through the class. And completing the project did help me in all the ways I mentioned before, but this class is what got me to be able to redirect my rejection and do all the things I learned. So after facing problems that I had, as I typically would, I would have just stopped, but using the life design thinking process, I was able to turn my failures into successes. And looking at myself from September to now, I'm very proud of the ways I was able to not only apply these failures to my project, but also to real life. Thank you.